Gruesome Magazine.
I am your host, Doc Rodden, and this is Gruesome Magazine, where we review the very latest in streaming and video on-demand horror movies. Each week, my co-hosts Jeff Mohr, Crystal Cleveland, Christopher G. Mohr, and we'll take a look at various spooky, scary, and gory genre offerings. Tonight, we're reviewing VHS 99, streaming on SHUDDER. Found footage, yeah, baby. All right, let me introduce the rest. Yeah, I know. Let me introduce the rest of the crew. Starting off with Jeff Mohr. Jeff, how you doing, sir?
Well, first answer me this: if I return to Earth, can I write my name in the Great Book of Witches?
No.
Only in blood.
No, Jeff.
Great.
No.
Can't you sketch up?
Yeah.
Buffalo sauce.
I know. It's like you got to put Jeff, and there's like, well, who's Jeff? There's so many Jeffs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nobody knows what we're talking about yet. All right. Also joining us this week is Crystal Cleveland, the Living Dead Girl. How you doing?
I'm fabulous. Thank you.
Fabulous, she says.
Mm-hmm.
Fabulous. All right. Also joining us is award-winning filmmaker Christopher G. Mohr. How you doing, sir?
Doing good. I'm recording this because I heard someone might die by the end of this podcast. I don't know. We'll see if that happens.
Uh-oh.
Somebody uses
Everybody's doing it.
This ancient piece of technology.
Is that real?
Everybody's
Like,
doing
is
it.
that
Diane
like
and recording.
actually an old one? Like,
Yes,
is
I have a container with like the history of video cameras, pretty much.
That's cool, though.
Because of every
I got
video
one of
camera I've
those.
ever had.
All right. Well,
Not that old.
No, you're not. All right,
No,
we're gonna get into this. We're going to review this film VHS 99. First, we're going to start off giving you our first impressions. That will be spoiler free, and then we'll dive into a discussion about the entire film. Spoilers galore. 5 segments. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we are going to, and then we'll wrap things up with our score, a 1 to 5, and our favorite scene or scenes. There's a lot. All right. We hope you enjoy not only this review, but many others that we have on the site. And if you do, please hit the like, subscribe, share with a friend.
Yes.
Button's easy and free to do, and it will help us get to our goal of 5,000 subscribers, a goal that only you can help us do.
Yep.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Let's take a look at the card and get going. All right. VHS 99, 2022, available streaming on SHUDDER beginning October 20th. Synopsis: witness a hellish vision of 1999, a social isolation, analog technology, and disturbing home videos, disturbing home videos fuse into nightmare of found footage savagery. Directed and written by Flying Lotus, along with Zoe Cooper, Maggie, Levin, Johannes Roberts, Joseph and Vanessa Winter, and Tyler MacIntyre. Did I say Tyler MacIntyre? I feel like I skipped Tyler MacIntyre. All right, the stars include Melanie Stone, Joseph Winter, Archelaus Cristano, yes,
Sure.
Verona Blue, Tashel Derrickson, Tybee Diskin, Alexia Ionides, Isabel Hahn, Steve Ogg, Luke Mullen, Emily Sweet, and Tyler Lofton.
Cool.
Yes. All right, let's start off with our first.
A lot of names in
impression.
there. A lot
of names. There's a lot more names. I only put.
I know.
Apologize for those who I omitted, not on purpose, but it happened. All right. Sorry, that was so weak. Christopher G. Mohr, what was your first impression of VHS 99?
Well, as someone that grew up during that year, in the 90s in general, and somebody who actually did use video camera, I really enjoyed this, and I think the good thing about these VHS movies is just how each one sort of attacks different types of stories, different types of use of like the camcorder or video camera. And that actually does a pretty good job of sort of like taking the essence of those type of things, where it's, where kids record themselves, playing on skateboards or like a double dare, like the kids type shows back in the day. It's or even just sorority hazes. I mean, there's so many different. They do such a great job of telling all these different things, and even like even like, you know, also the good thing about it is the interconnected thing where they just basically got guys playing around with his little army figures, which actually you think
I
is
love
just
it.
I think it's just a fun little thing, but it actually kind of ties into one of the segments without giving too much away. But yeah, I had a lot of fun watching this, and there's definitely some moments that I was cringing because I have a thing about being trapped in places, and if there's other things in that place, I don't like that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
thought about you.
So I was having some major anxiety just watching that. But again, I think because they did such a great job in sort of like putting, you know, because a lot of these things you almost like from their point of view at times, you know. So yeah, I think they did a really great job of different stories that are not all the same type of story, and you know, some are more funny than others, like the people who did Deadstream. Theirs is definitely the same screaming guy from before. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I really love these videos. In fact, I think the one thing I again, it's like, damn, please call me. I want to be part of this series, because I know they just had lined up their next VHS stuff. So
Did you see the directors on that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because I just picked up a hard drive from my director of photography for my anthology segment that that Crystal and Vanessa are part of, and I was discussing like, hey, I want to do my movie Knob Goblins as a found footage thing. So anyway, I really enjoyed the hell out of this. I think they do a really great job of finding different voices, telling different stories. And it doesn't feel that you don't really get burnout on anything because they're just all kinds of interesting stories, different characters. So yeah, I really enjoyed this new entry in the VHS franchise.
Excellent. Crystal, what was your first impression of VHS 99?
Okay, so I've pretty much liked all the VHS films. I mean, the good thing about an anthology is this: if you don't like one, just wait a little bit and another one will come along and you might like something in that. So that's the beautiful thing about this. Okay, so I've got to say that 99 is not as good as 94. 94, the subject, what is it, Timo? Oh my God. That is literally the best segment in all of VHS history. I'm just saying for the record. But however, this one is entertaining and interesting, and it brings up a lot of different sort of things. I like Christopher mentioned, I love like it kind of reminded me of like Robot Chicken with the army men for some reason.
Yeah,
I don't know if they had something. Yeah. And like he was talking about the Double Dare stuff. That was a great. I mean, each segment is good though. Okay. I did enjoy something out of each segment, and I enjoyed some more than others. I think they put the order pretty well. You know, I mean, because you start off and then you kind of get amped up. And one I really found very interesting that they brought in a particular demigod, Gorgon. There we go, Gorgon. Yeah, that was a twist for me. There's a lot of good in this. There is some cinematography that I was not happy with on some of them. But overall, it's VHS. It was entertaining. It is entertaining. I almost wish that like the 94 hadn't been so fresh in my mind because I just watched it. That I did. What's funny about that one is that one segment is so good, but in this one has better amounts of good segments. Does that make sense?
Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, it does.
Yeah. Okay. So I liked it. I love found footage. I love VHS. I don't think there's a single one of these films that I didn't like. So
perfect.
Like I said, just wait and you'll find something you like.
Yes. Excellent. Jeff, what is your first impression of VHS 99?
Well, just to back up some of what Crystal and Christopher said, the thing about these is I think there's something for everybody in here. So like the one Chris was talking about didn't do anything for me.
Oh.
But there's a couple other ones I thought were excellent, and a couple other ones. I did the forgivable thing. Like this weekend, I watched all the past VHS movies. To
I
refresh
know
my
I
memory.
shouldn't have too. I know I shouldn't have.
They're all really good, and I don't.
I like that idea,
For
though.
me, it didn't. This one wasn't as good. I mean, this is the fifth one, right? I didn't think this one was as good, but it's got some excellent pieces in it. It's definitely worth a watch. So check it out. That's my first impression.
Well, I'm an easy target. You know, I love it. And I've been enjoying the hell out of the VHS franchise, and this one delivers. There's one segment in here that might be my favorite segment.
Really?
Yeah. There's
Oh,
one.
wow.
There's a. I'll just go ahead and say that Vanessa and Joseph Winter, I think, are quickly becoming one of my favorite directors. We've done two of their films here in the past few weeks, and they truly delivered here as well. I've really enjoyed their stuff. I had a good time with this. There were some moments that it felt a little too much into the VHS-ness of it, you know. But at the same time, it worked. So I like I said, I watched it twice. I was an easy target. I liked it. I like them all.
Yeah. I mean, they're likable. Like I said, you may not like every segment in every movie, but so what? There's plenty of segments in the movies. You're going to find plenty that you like, I think, if you're a horror fan.
All right. Yep. And we got 5 segments. So let's go through each segment, just saying who the director is and the quick synopsis of the film. I think that'll be fun. The first one was Shredding. It was written and directed by Maggie Levin. Maggie Levin was the assistant director on The Black Phone, Christopher.
Ooh.
Yeah. And the synopsis,
bad.
bratty punk rock group RAC, acronym of the bandmates Rachel, Anchor, Chris, and Caleb, records their antics for fans, their online fans. Ooh, early. The band decides to record a music video inside the condemned underground music venue where members of another band, Bitch Cat, were trampled to death by fans after a fire broke out a few years back. So what quickly, let's talk about this segment.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. This is my least favorite segment of the whole bunch.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and mainly it's because of the filters and the VHS. Yeah. I was like, okay.
Well, that was part of what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, and I didn't like it, and I thought it was kind of weird. They were, it just didn't. It wasn't horrible, but and then how they were silly little zombies. I was just okay. I think it was smart to put the weakest link at the beginning, but
I don't know if I would say
I wouldn't call that the weakest link. I
I
had more problems with the Gorgon than one that I had.
No, we'll get there.
Oh, that's another issue.
But I actually like this because it did a really great job of sort of like in the 90s when MTV was a big thing, and because that felt like a real band, and I think when it came to I mean, a lot of the video stuff, that's how that stuff was back. You could go to the video store and rent stuff with people shredding and doing that stuff and going in between the stuff. But yeah, my only issue is just I hated the people that were with the one guy the whole time.
Oh yeah,
and I always hate that when it's like, you know, you don't care about anybody, so that other than the one guy. But I don't know. I kind of like that. I kind of liked where they just took their body parts and put them together. Like,
That's what one.
Okay, that was funny. Yeah.
One over when they do the little.
Yeah. I kind of like that,
and
then you know, and also how they would intercut the stuff between, like when they were doing the stuff like, you know, play or dead or whatever they say, and they would intercut it. The way that they sort of interconnected it between the other footage. Just almost like, because there's glitches when you record over something and it pops back up as somebody that used to. I still have videotapes where I would record stuff from TV, and so you record it several times, and a lot of times you get those little glitches. So I don't know. I kind of like that. I mean, other than the annoying people, it didn't bother me as much. I think I will say I think throughout a lot of the segments, some of the effects stuff felt like practical effects, but I think a lot of stuff
yeah.
is gonna read that way because it's on video, and in general, it's not something you
I
can
do
really
think
light
that
well.
they were, though, in this. I do appreciate that. I think in this, they were practical. They seemed practical to me.
They
too.
were
I mean,
practical, and I think
Yeah.
the stuff that's more noticeable is when they try to incorporate CGI stuff, which some of the later
Which-
segments you could sort of see
yes,
that much
of
more.
course, yeah. Mhm.
All right, Jeff. Anything to say before we move on?
No. I guess I'm with you guys. I was the band members irritated me how the three band members, like they weren't a band. They held this one guy separate and made all these plans without him to prank him over and over and over again, without him knowing about it. So I don't know, that turned me off. I loved the part where I think it was Jacob when he jumps up on the stage and then just flies up into the air and then
Yes.
comes down in a big splat and pieces. I thought that was awesome because he was really the most irritating.
Then the other guy takes off. Pew! All right, up next is Suicide Bid. It's written and directed by Johannes Roberts. He is the guy behind the 47 Meters Down films, Strangers Pray at Night, and recently did one of Christopher G. Mohr's favorite films, Resident Evil: Welcome to Raccoon City. I'm being sarcastic. The synopsis is: freshman Lily is desperate to join her college campus's most prestigious sorority. She is dared to spend a night buried inside a coffin filled with spiders, recreating an urban legend whereupon another student was dared to commit the same deed, only to be forgotten by her classmates over a week and left to die. I'll start off saying there's a part in this that involves the coffin breaking open and a huge head coming through that yay, I loved it. But
I love a segment too.
Yeah,
I don't like claustrophobia stuff too, and so I feel like this relied more on to a degree until the end. I was like, oh, this is horrible, this is a nightmare, this is like that actually worked for me. I love the cross. I knew
it's like a see-through cross. Like, oh, they're gonna work that in somehow. I mean, I liked it once we got into the coffin. I will say the very beginning of this, the acting
Kinda
wasn't
weird.
that great.
Yeah.
But when she's talking to her roommate, I was like, oh, the rest of this I'm not sure this is going to be good. But I think once they get into the midst of them doing that haze of putting her in that, it's like, and then telling all the different things like hit the bell or open this container if you want to fill. And I was like, oh God, there's something in that container.
Yeah.
And at first I thought it's cockroaches or whatever, but then it's like spiders. Like,
horrible.
oh my God. I'm like, I mean, everything that could go wrong in there just felt like something from my nightmare, whether it's just being trapped in something, you don't have much air, creatures crawling around in there on you. It cracks open, and then you're almost going to drown in muddy water. I mean, all that stuff. It was so tension filled. Than that whole thing. I just had. I thought that was well done.
Me too.
I'll say.
Jeff doesn't think so though.
No. How did they do the spider on her face? Because that looked like it was really.
Oh, that was CGI. I think.
I would assume it's CGI because I was like watching that too. I was like, I'm not sure if I was an actor in that, if I could put up with that, but I would assume that was because, especially. Well,
I saw the credits. There was a spider wrangler. So
was there? I mean, they probably could have. I mean, I'm sure some of the stuff
that's ridiculous.
They're not going to be able to actually kill the spiders. So
no, that was definitely
there had to be some CGI. But
they could have filmed the spiders and then overlaid that or something.
Yeah, because there was a lot of spiders. There was like 6 or 7 spiders in that.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, I would literally.
The coffin was too big for me to get the claustrophobia part of it. I guess I don't know.
Just the idea of
you're still trapped in, and
when they showed that they didn't really put that much dirt on it too, I was sort of like,
that didn't matter when the rain came down. It didn't matter.
When the rain,
agreed.
Okay. Anyway,
still in an enclosed environment.
It was okay. Yeah. It just wasn't my favorite.
I get and that makes sense. I mean, I get why that was your
again,
favorite.
I think we're going to learn as we talk about these segments. Everybody probably has a more of a favorite than everybody else, and that's always the cool thing about most of these type of movies.
That's true.
Is that everybody can gravitate to one specific thing that they like more than the other. So.
All right, up next is Ozzy's Dungeon, that's written by Ian Cooper and directed by Flying Lotus. Flying Lotus is the director behind Kuso, if you guys remember that from a few seasons back. The synopsis for this is a dangerous children's TV show called Ozzy's Dungeon, whose prize is a wish granted by the mysterious Ozzy, is canceled after a contestant is permanently injured. Years later, the parents of the injured girl kidnap the formal show's host and force him to endure a similar yet deadlier obstacle gauntlet in their basement and discover the true nature of Ozzy. Okay. What do you guys think of this one?
I loved it. It was hilarious. I think this one was gory, and it was funny, and it was kind of long, but
yeah,
I mean,
I think again, they did a really great job of sort of making fun of not only like Double Dare type shows as kids competition shows, but also just In Living Color, all people with
my god, that was hilarious.
The dancing.
It felt like from that period. But I also love it when you have a segment that starts off one way and then it goes this weird direction, and that was kind of cool because then you think it's just a one note thing. Especially when they go back to the set or whatever, and you find out.
Yeah, it's like they go
more to this.
To me, they go one weird way, and then they go another weird way. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this, huh? She wants it. Okay.
So I love it when it's not as obvious as what you think it might be.
I thought it was dumb.
I'm with Jeff.
Really? Oh, wow, that's too bad.
I not that I didn't enjoy it, but I was like, eh.
Yeah. They had a couple of great lines, though. One line, I'm not sure if the mother said both of these or not. One was, "Don't nobody want to see that on the big screen," and then the other one, "What's that brown stuff? It sure ain't bean dip."
No.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. Poor Steve Ogg. All right.
Yes.
Up next is the Gawkers, written by Chris Lee Hill and Tyler MacIntyre and directed by Tyler MacIntyre. Tyler MacIntyre did Tragedy Girls, which we reviewed, and then did Good Boy in the Dark, which I believe Good Boy was the dog one, right?
Good Boy. Yeah. Good Boy is a good one.
Synopsis is: a young boy's camera is stolen by his older brother so he and his friends can spy on the girl next door. Their infatuation turns to obsession as the mischievous teen secretly installs spyware on her computer to see through her webcam. However, they soon discover the girl's dark secret. What do you guys think?
Okay, so I'm going to kind of agree with Christopher. I didn't love this one. I felt like it was kind of long, a little bit boring, but I love the Gorgon. I thought that was fun. I thought that was cool. I wasn't ready for it. I wasn't expecting it. As with the siren, I loved that they had the siren in the first one. I mean, that's kind of what hooked most people.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that's what they were kind of trying to do here. I think it would be cool to have some sort of mythological creature in each one. I mean, it's weird. It's wild. No, it wasn't the best segment. I think the acting was okay, but the CGI...
CGI was lagging. I figured out what it was about when she has heads in her yard.
Oh really?
I totally missed it.
I didn't catch it either. I was thinking
I love
Haunted Mansion.
I love how the interconnecting things, because his brother
with the little
they're frozen people. So that connects perfectly into a person that turns people into frozen people. So I just thought that's a really sort of subtle
clever
way of doing that, but also having fun. The little animated things that he does with the little figures, like when he's having kids.
I love that. I love that. Their little version of cheapo stop motion animation.
Yeah.
And then when it finally melded into, because I was trying to figure out what's this got to do with, I'm not seeing the wraparound part, but it finally melded into that one story. I like this one. I like the whole Medusa or Gorgon thing that I didn't see it coming in. And it was sort of like these guys were punks. And so I was glad to see them
Oh yeah, they deserved it. They
get their
deserved it.
comeuppance.
Although, as someone that was a nerd back in the 90s, you're not going to be able to get that kind of broadcast video quality from the internet at that time. I'm sorry. That did not exist at that time.
No,
So
it'd
that
be-
was, I didn't believe
Yeah,
that one.
yeah.
100%.
It'd be a lot of
I didn't believe that. It'd be like,
a lot of buffering going on.
yeah.
But yeah, the thing that kind of sank it for me was the special effects at the end. It wouldn't have if they didn't linger on it so long.
Mm-hmm.
I know what they were
Yeah.
after, but it just exposed how bad it was. I mean, when she was coming down the steps and turned the one kid into a stone, that worked. But then after that, it was they needed to do some creative lighting or something. It kind of was a little painfully obvious, but
Yeah.
it still was.
It
fun.
was, but it
still
was.
fun.
So yeah, we're talking anyway. I was okay
Yeah,
with it.
I mean, it's not a deal breaker. Don't get me wrong. It's not a deal breaker.
I'll say this: that was my least favorite segment of the whole
Okay.
movie.
All right. Up next is the final segment, To Hell and Back, written directed by Vanessa and Joseph Winter. Of course, they are responsible for Deadstream, which we did, 2 weeks back now? Or on the eve of Y2K, we all remember that, right? Videographers Nate and Troy are unwittingly hired by cultists to film a summoning ritual. The spell backfires and the two friends are transported to hell, where tortured soul Mabel helps them battle against several underworld creatures as they attempt to escape back to Earth. I will just immediately say this was by far my favorite episode. I love this one so much, and a lot of it has to do with Melanie Stone, who was also in Deadstream as Mabel. Just that whole character, and they.
Well, she totally reminded me of
It's very Gollum-ish.
from
Oh my God, yeah.
Ghostbusters.
Oh,
From
yeah, her too.
Ghostbusters. As what's her name? What's the 80s
Gozer,
one?
not Gozer.
Gozer. Yes,
Gozer,
thank
okay.
you. Because the short hair and kind of how and she's like talking like this. Did you know that? Da da da. And I'm going to get you, but I'll help you get out of here first. You know, like yeah,
But
He was the same girl from
yeah.
Deadstream.
She's Mildred.
Yep.
So she's Mabel and Mildred. Like, what are they doing with her and these poor names? Okay,
I don't know,
like,
but she does
and
a great
Chrissy.
job. She does a great job.
Yeah, she did. This was probably my favorite too. This one or the Double Dare one. I'm not sure. You know, they were both good.
This was up and down for me. There was times where the bits got a little bit annoying, but I still enjoyed it. It just it felt a lot of the jokes were on the nose, I think. and I mean, but then they'd have like the little gags of just seeing all the different like weird creatures and stuff, like the little half creature that crawls out and stuff.
Oh yeah, that was
Cool
actually
stuff.
really creepy. Yeah.
Cool stuff.
This is my favorite one. I liked it as far as I love the creatures, and I love the sort of to me it was interesting twist at the end when they got back into the
Yes,
Maybe.
yes.
I mean,
I thought it was awesome.
guys, when he wrote that and I was like, what is he doing? And when I saw him, I'm like, oh my God. Well, you did
And I
live up
loved
to your
Mabel,
word.
so
I
this was easily
appreciate
my
that.
favorite one.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm definitely can't wait to see what the winters come up. Winter is coming, so I can't wait for what's next.
Yeah, it made me wonder. It's like where did they film that? It was like weird formations. Rock
It looked like a
formations.
desert.
It
kind
did.
of, right?
It did look like kind of a little set design on some desert.
Well, it reminded me of Bryce Canyon a little bit,
Yeah.
but I don't know
But-
if it was,
yeah,
they wouldn't
from-
let him film there. I don't think.
No, I don't think. But for me, it's just the chaotic nature of it was, it was snap, 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 go. Once
And
it
he was
got
all,
into-
and then what's his name? Kept just kept doing stupid stuff, like when he got the little thing caught in his hand, like and he's always screaming like the normal like female victims from olden days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so he's definitely he's become my new scream
Queen.
king, I guess, or
He's a
scream queen of today. He's just fun to see him suffer.
Yeah.
When he had to crawl through all this stuff.
Oh, when they crawl through all the webs.
Well, and then he kept harping on that. You know, why
Yeah.
do you like me? What's wrong with it? What
Well, he was upset.
what are you talking about this now for? Leave me alone.
But I like when Mabel comes out. She has the spider webs hanging off her head. So.
Ugh.
It was awesome.
Ugh.
All right. Well, there you go. I think that we got quite into that one. I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and wrap this up with our score 1 to 5 as a whole and our favorite scene. Christopher G. Mohr, you are up first.
Yeah, I think it's another enjoyable installment in this series. I will agree with Crystal. It's like, I think there's a lot of other series where you have those standout episodes by directors that work well. And I think, sometimes not everybody's going to be able to make something to that level, but it's still entertaining. I'll give this a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it.
Good.
And there's some really fun parts of it, and it just made me kind of like, oh, I want to do something like that.
You do, definitely.
As for favorite scene, I'll probably just have to go when the girl is inside the coffin, because that affected me the worst. Because I was like, I don't know what I would do in that. First of all, I would say no. This is not worth me. Any group, if I have to do that, I'm sorry.
And spiders. Yeah.
No, thank you. Just So that's probably my favorite scene.
Good for her though. Crystal, what is your score 1 to 5 and your favorite scene?
Okay, I'm gonna give it a 3.75.
Nice.
Yeah, and obviously, I've already mentioned. Obviously, my favorite scene was Mabel, like in the blood. I died. Actually, the whole scene from when he wakes up, we're back. What? So dumb. Okay. That's it.
I love it.
Done.
All right, Jeff. What is your score 1 to 5 and your favorite scene?
I think I'll do 3.75 as well. And I already said my favorite segment was To Hell and Back. I'm trying to think of a favorite scene in there that. I guess I'm going to say I don't think this is what you were saying. They had the vessel tied to the table, and when they finally make it back, and the vessel jumps up and says something, I was like, "What? What?" All right, I guess they had a malfunction there.
Whoops, misplaced. That's the same thing, but we'll let you have it there. For me, I'm giving this a 4 1/4, and
That's awesome.
even though I kind of said there's some better than others, there isn't a bad one in the batch, right? There's not a sucky one.
I agree.
There's just lesser good.
Yeah.
That sounds like a left-handed compliment, but I mean it. I mean, they're all good. To me, there's 2 that stand out as better, but that doesn't mean anything other than my preference. I could choose anything from Hell and Back, but I'm going to, and I'm not going to choose it from the other one I liked as much, but I'm going from the first one. The marionette band at the end really made that whole segment for me. When it turned to them and they're all there and they're just doing all kinds of crazy things. I just thought that was a great gag, and it was a great way to end that segment. And that got me jazzed up for the rest of it. It really did. I thought that was the perfect one to have at the beginning because of that ending. It just kind of, led you into it, and it was like, okay. And then bang, and like, oh, all right, let's get going. So it carried over to the rest of them. And then Hell and Back, put the special sauce in it.
You got to kind of love a delivery service called DUI.
Yes, you do. When the guy did the little dance afterward.
Yes.
Oh my God. There were points that were pretty slick. And that was Gawkers, right? That was back.
Yes.
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to next year with 84.
Oh yeah.
So that's going to be interesting. And then the year
Hey,
after that,
go back and watch the old
Mohr
ones. I think they're all on Shudder. I think.
Are they? I know that 94 is.
Many of them are. If not,
I think because
think
all of them
Viral
are being
is, too.
produced by Shudder, so that's probably why they're going to be on there.
I
Yep.
watched them all without trouble. Let's put it that way.
Perfect.
there you go. There you go.
That's wonderful.
That's our review for VHS 99. Let us know what you thought of it. It's on Shudder. We know you have Shudder. Watch it. Let us know what you think in the comments down below. Let us know what segment you like best.
Give it to me, baby.
Yeah. Crystal, Jeff, Christopher, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun.
It always is.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
And thank you, Shudder. All right. Let's say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.